People, young people did not witness these miracles. They did not see what Gaddafi and the revolution did in education, in health, in transport, how Libya was transformed within a very short time from a very nomad nation, very poor, to a very rich, developed nation. And I've appealed to you before to go to the United Nations Human Development Index. And I said to you, just do this. Look for the indications for Libya in 1970. Then look for the indications for Libya in 75, then 80, 85. And you will not believe your eyes. And these are the United Nations indications. You will not believe, you will think that God came down and did everything for the Libyans. The revolution was unprecedented. And it's all, of course, because the oil was brought back to the Libyans, was taken back from the international companies and given back to the Libyans and spent on education, health, transport, housing, and so on, so on, so on. Now, young Libyans are reliving the revolution. It's their chance. It's like Gaddafi was chosen twice to be the hero and the legend of this country. In 1969, when he was 27, and in 2011, when he is 70. I think it's his luck. I envy him. This is my initial response. I don't think we have any journalists with us in custody. But if we do, I will check. I will double check for you. As we have done before, every single journalist we captured, we, of course, kept for a short time to check their identity, make sure they are journalists, check the circumstances in which they entered the country. You have to remember, we are the sovereign government and sovereign state in Libya. We believe that, and we practice our sovereignty as mandated to us by international law. And after we keep them, usually for 3 days, 4 days, very few were kept for longer because of different reasons, but usually it's 3 days, 4 days, a week, and then they are released. So if we have them, we will make sure that we check their identity, make sure that they are indeed journalists, and then I believe they will be released as soon as possible. But I will check for you. Could you please leave me his name?
Is it possible maybe they don't?
Do you have his would you be able to find any photo of him on the internet?
I couldn't find yet.
Yeah, that would help. If you could do that.
Do you have an email address? Or?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I have my work one.
Or generally
It's yeah. Some of you, I left it by the reception for days and days, but maybe before you came, I will repost it. I would not call it negotiation. He said, because it doesn't work, they are not equal parties. You are talking about the Libyan nation and armed gangs. Nations do not negotiate with armed gangs. We are seeing this as an internal matter. These are people, Libyans, who have gone astray. And he has urged the Libyan nation to talk sense into them. He says, talk with them, have a dialogue, see what they want, tell them that you oppose them, and disarm them, and tell them that they have to stop the violence and join any national inclusive political process that you, the Libyan masses, want. Yeah. So he's not saying that the rebels should sit on one side of the table and you, we still are saying, and we stress that, we do not recognize the rebels whatsoever. They are armed gangs. They were yesterday, they are today, they will be tomorrow. We sit with them just to save the country. No, we, the Libyan government, Libyan officials, okay, you have 3 levels, okay, of talk, if you like. Let me explain it. You have the leader, you have the Libyan officials, and you have the Libyan people in their masses. Now, the Libyan leader, Gaddafi, is off all of this. He will not be involved in any negotiations or dialogue with these people. Okay? Now, you have the Libyan officials, such as myself or any Libyan minister, we have already been involved in talks and negotiations. You can call these negotiations. We will do it. We'll continue doing that. And, you know, but then you have the third level, which is the Libyan masses that the leader was addressing. These Libyan masses will not negotiate with the rebels, okay? They are asked or urged by the leader to march unarmed to the occupied cities, talk sense into these rebels, and force them to stop the violence and come back to the bosoms of the Libyan nation. Those who agree from the rebels, then they are greeted back with love and forgiveness. He asked the masses, the Libyan leader. Those who continue fighting, then it's the duty of the Libyan masses to fight against them and eradicate them from Libya. Is that the... Okay. Gaddafi, you see, there is something you have already owned. No one can take it away from you. Gaddafi being the leader of this nation is something that he already earned by being the leader of the revolution and the one who changed the lives of Libyans forever, and he is held so dear in the hearts of millions. Now that there are thousands or tens of thousands of people who do not want him, this is their issue. They have to deal with it. You know, the Queen of England is the leader of the British nation, is the figurehead of the British nation. This is not affected by the fact that there are Republican British people who hate monarchy and do not want it. She still remains the leading figure of the British nation, okay? Now, Gaddafi did much more to Libyans than the Queen of England did to the British. I mean, he wasn't just born into a royal family. Gaddafi was a poor, young, nomad, Bedouin man from the desert of Sirte. And he led young men from all the tribes of Libya and fought against the power that is the foreign military bases in Libya and against the royal family of Libya and freed Libya. So he is even dearer to us. So no, I don't think any negotiation will affect the position of the leader as the leader of this country whatsoever. Now, this is not related to politics. Now, you want democracy is about politics, decision making. Now, this is all for negotiation. We can choose a republic, keep the Jamahiri system we have now, move towards or backward to monarchy, anything Libyans decide, but it has to be what Libyans decide, not what the rebels decide or NATO decide. You see, listen to the arrogance. Listen to the arrogance and the stupidity and ignorance of these people. These people have no right to ask any Libyan citizen to leave their country. They have no right to ask any Libyan official or any Libyan leader of any sort to step down. This is a matter for the Libyan people, not for foreigners to decide. And as I said, now that we have spilled all of this blood, the blood of our martyrs, the blood of our children, our women and men, the blood of our honorable, dignified soldiers in the armed forces, thousands of them in the last few months, we will never betray their sacrifice. We are all prepared to fight to the end. We are all prepared to sacrifice. This is our moral stand. This is our moral position. I talk about myself as an individual in this country. I talk about my brothers and sisters, my neighbors, my friends, the millions of Libyans. You have to know this. I know it's very difficult for many to believe, but actually we have made our decision long ago. NATO will not win, and the rebels will not win. We, the Libyans, will win. Leader Muammar Gaddafi will be victorious, and we will stand as the beautiful, dignified example of free nations when they fight the forces of evil, that is NATO and the West, when they hunger after oil and power, and they are prepared to kill everyone for it. And also, we believe by winning, we will expose the ugly, ugly information war that was mounted against us from the very beginning, and every lie has been exposed. And in the future, it will be much more difficult to deceive other nations, and it will be much more difficult to lead other information wars against other nations. We believe, as Libyans, that this will be our glory in the books of history. The amount of lying and misinformation about this country and about this government is unprecedented. I hold my PhD in media studies. I know what I'm talking about. Never anything I read or studied in the universities of the West prepared me for such a media war, ever. Ever. So we are standing here for the honor of the human race, not just for Libya. Thank you.